Maybe this is just a personal opinion amongst the circles that I associate with, but a lot of people are starting to realise the issues with the modern day 9 to 5. You don't get paid very much, companies expect an awful lot from you, your wage barely covers your living cost, and there appears to be not very much advancement. And that's if you can ever get a job in the first place. Some of these office 9 to 5s now are incredibly difficult to get. This is just context for the topic that we're going to be speaking about today, but that is the world of the modern day 9 to 5. Now, the actual schedule of the 9 to 5 works well for most people, and the reality of most people is they could start a business and begin making money, but they don't want to. There's nothing wrong with that at all. A lot of people on the internet especially like to criticise this and say it's a bad thing. I don't think it is. You know, in any culture or any time in history, there's been leaders and there's been followers, and great leaders are really made up by their backing of followers, right? So there's nothing wrong with most people wanting to work a 9 to 5. But the trouble with the modern day 9 to 5 is that there's nothing that comes after it. And especially for people who are wanting to become business owners or entrepreneurs, this is something to really begin thinking about quite deeply. Nothing comes after the 9 to 5. Now, I think there's most people who have this ambition or perhaps delusional belief that one day they'll just get rich. And I always used to think this was partially a joke, but it seemed to be genuinely the case. You know, I will just win the lottery, or maybe one day I'll start a business. The reality is the chance of winning the lottery is quite slim. The chance of that crypto going up 10 times and anything else, it's just not that high. It's not that high of a likelihood. So that's quite slim. And so most people have this ambition, but they don't actually assess their real life circumstances. And when you work a 9 to 5, to a degree, there's not really an end in sight. Especially in today's market where wages are not going to be enough to give you money to retire on. You're going to be making a certain amount of money. You're probably not going to get those promotions as easily anymore because they are internally promoted or they're just not hiring workers in that role anymore. AI's coming. In fact, no, AI is actually here. So that's to consider. You're not going to become the CEO of that company, most likely. Not in today's market from being a low-level worker. You're not going to become an upper-level management. Some people and some companies do still offer these great privileges, but most companies don't. And your chances of making it out of these low-level positions is not that high. Nothing comes after the 9 to 5. It is the never-ending grind. And if you like it, like some people do, that's good. Actually, it's probably better. If you genuinely enjoy the 9 to 5 and the 9 to 5 schedule and you like coming to the office, you're probably going to be a bit better off because you don't have this unnecessary stress of trying to find an alternative way of living. But if you're one of the people saying, you know, one day my lucky days are going to come, or I'll start my business when my cards line up, guys, they're not going to line up ever. You're never going to have your cards all in a line. It's never going to be easier to start than it is going to be today. It's always hard. It's never easy. It's always difficult. So you might as well start today. But the real truth and the real scam about the 9 to 5, especially in today's market, is not going to buy your house. It's not going to buy your dream car. It's not going to buy your retirement. Some of them will. Some people get 50, 60, 70, 100, 150k. Even here in the UK, right? Some people are on good money. Let's not lie. Let's not lie about it because it is true. Some people do still get very good money. But a lot of people do not. So if you're on an average to low wage, you know, the likelihood that you are going to retire, it's not going to be the same as what it once was. It's not the same market that it once was. It's going to be significantly more challenging, significantly more difficult. And nothing really comes at the end of this journey. You don't get a reward. You might get a little bit of a pension if you're lucky. This is not the way to get rich. And this is not really news to anybody, but then you really think about the impact and the meaning that this has on your life. Most people just say, well, yeah, that's true, and then they get on with it. Yeah, you've got to pay your bills. Yeah, you've got to do all this sort of stuff. But if you really want to get rich or find an alternative way, you've got to start beginning it now because it's not getting easier. It's becoming harder. It's becoming more challenging to do. Nothing comes after the 9 to 5. It is the end goal. It's the absolute end goal. You go to school, you go to college, you go to university, and there's this tier of advancement. You get higher level qualifications. But once you're in the 9 to 5, for a lot of people, there's no more development. There's no higher position. There's no increase in salary unless there's, you know, a small one. it's the end goal, it's the end point, and there's nothing extra that comes from that. Let me know your thoughts on this short video in the comment section. It's only been a quick one. I just wanted to talk about this quickly. I've made a few videos today, but this popped into my head. Thank you for your time, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now.